When I told my mom I was giving a senior sage, she said, and I quote, "That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard." How could a high school senior be sage-like? I couldn't really disagree with her. I am but an 18-year-old girl attempting to share my wisdom with slightly younger members of the student body. But I hope, when all is said and done, that I will impart a little bit of this wisdom to someone in the audience today. As a freshman and younger student, I was a grade A try-hard and control freak. I thought I knew everything I wanted out of my high school career, and overworking myself and overthinking everything was the only way to get there. I thought if I just kept going and confining my emotions into a metaphorical shoebox, I would reach these goals, and nothing bad could ever happen to me. I was like a freight train that never stopped chugging forward, with a conductor whose mind never stopped racing. For those of you who know senior me today, you may be thinking that not much has changed. You are not entirely wrong, but you're not entirely right either. In my past 4 years at Shady Side, I've learned how to manage my anxiety, depression, and control issues rather than letting them manage me. I've gotten through every rough day, loss, family drama, and yes, bad test grade, with a simple mantra that I've silently told myself every morning when I wake up and every night before I go to sleep. So today, if I'm going to impart any wisdom upon you, I want you to know my mantra, that it's going to be okay. I'm Cassidy, and this is my senior sage. Lesson 1, bad things will happen, and that's okay. You might be thinking, gee, Cass, what a lovely pessimistic start to your speech, but I will say it nonetheless. Bad things are going to happen when you least expect them. It could be a major life change, social drama, a subpar grade, small things piled up one after another, or a global pandemic. Like me, you may try to ignore these feelings for the sake of perseverance and routine, but you can't shut down your feelings because that only prolongs your distress. I'm not telling you to wallow in your pity and rot away forever, but allow your emotions to be felt before you start trying to heal from them. When I suddenly lost my dog this summer, it was the first time in my life that I genuinely wasn't able to function. I was forced to stop everything and really think. Yet weeks later, I was glad I allowed myself that time to grieve, because it felt so much better to let it out rather than just pretending I was okay. It's not bad to feel bad after bad things happen. It's a natural and human response, and you have to be willing to process those emotions before you move forward. Lesson 2, it's okay to not know and not fix everything. As a chronic people pleaser and mom friend, I have trouble establishing my own boundaries. You cannot be a therapist at the ripe age of 14, and you cannot solve everyone's problems. Unlike in shows, movies, books, and other forms of media, real life can never be wrapped up in a pretty bow. Although you should always do your best to help others, there is no shame in removing yourself from the situation or taking the issue to more qualified professionals. You do not have to shoulder everyone's burdens or climb their mountain for them. Be a good friend, listen to them, and help when you can. Learning how to walk the line between listening and finding a solution is one of the best ways you can support a friend in need. Lesson 3, it's okay to not be perfect. While trying your best might be a good standard, you will not always be at 100%, and others' 100% will look different than yours. Maybe they're dealing with trouble at home, working nights to save up, or mustering the courage to get out of bed in the morning. Or maybe they're just really tired and burnt out and dealing with senioritis. I often find myself thinking about freshman Cassidy's discipline, who would start a paper 2 weeks before it was due, study a week before the test, and in the words of Miss Garvey, revise essays for fun. What would she think of me now? But you know what? That Cass didn't have to face a pandemic, or a divorce, or BC calculus. Even though I feel as though I'll never reach that golden standard of my try-hard freshman self, I'm okay with senior Cassidy's 100% because I'm still giving it my all. It just looks a little different from day to day. Lesson 4, and it's the final one, don't worry. It's okay to not be the best. At Shady Side, it sometimes feels like you're constantly surrounded by geniuses and star athletes, which can make you feel very inadequate by comparison. But I can guarantee that, at least at some point in your life, every single member of this student body will not be the best in the room, and that is okay. Years from now, you will not care about what your friend got on your latest English paper, or if they scored higher than you on the SAT. How would you ever learn if you're always the best at something and you're never challenged? Instead of letting the competition drive you, use each other to learn more and find common ground. If you feel so inclined, work hard at what you can change, but don't worry about the things you can't. I know that when it comes to things like geography, foreign languages, and admittedly, directional awareness, I may never be the best, but I know that through practice and hard work, I have the opportunity to get better. If I were tasked to give this message to my freshman self, to impart a tiny sliver of wisdom, the first thing I would do is sit her on a bench in the second floor row, get her a nice cold glass of water, hold her hand, and slap her right across the face. I would do this in an effort to get her to listen to me, but I doubt it would work. Learning to accept the unexpected, embrace my failures, and let myself feel has taken me years to learn and will take me many more years to master. My freshman state of peril could not be resolved with a simple statement of my older self telling me that I would be okay. I've had to learn how to internalize my "it's going to be okay" mantra rather than recite and repeat it. I know now what I didn't know then, that no matter how overwhelmed and drowned I feel, there will always be a way to reach the surface. When I watched past senior sages present, I often felt very jealous of them. They were so close to graduating, they knew where they were going to college, and they obviously must have their life put all together. Let it be known, now and forever, that I am not this person, and they probably weren't either. While I am logistically close to graduating, I still have ways left to go, and I do not know where I'm going to college yet, and I absolutely do not have my life together. I have just started my journey to sage-like wisdom, despite being called one today, and I will continue to learn more about myself and grow into who I'm meant to be. I will continue to be anxious and unnecessarily stressed by silly things, but I will continue to cope in the ways I've learned. The journey will be long and filled with twists and turns, much like my experience at SSA, but I will keep repeating my mantra until I get there, and even if I fail, I know I will be okay, and so will you. Thank you.